Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis Bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danni Benson, and I am the host of I'm Proud of You, Sis. And today we're featuring I'm Proud of You, Bro. We have Kevin Thompson here. We're going to do pop culture, wrapping it up. So much has been happening, and I've been talking to Kevin. I was like, look, we got to do a show on this. There's too much going on where we don't come back, link together, and just have discussions about things that's been going on in pop culture that I know myself and Kevin have opinions on. So everyone, please welcome Kevin Thompson to I'm Proud of You, Sis.
What's happening? What's happening? Danni,
Hey!
good to see you.
So much is happening. I'm so happy to get a male perspective because, of course, I love your perspective. So let's just cut to the chase. Let's talk about Diddy and Cassie.
Diddy, are we calling him Diddy or Sean Combs or Puff
Diddy,
Daddy?
Diddy, love, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy.
Just call him what it is. Guilty. He's guilty. That man has gotten away with this foolishness, this tomfoolery, this malarkey for quite some time now. It's been decades of Sean Combs BS, and now he's getting called on it. Now there's literally video proof of how horrible this man is. We've seen it. We've all been entertained on the Making the Band series on MTV when he was god awful to those young, talented artists. We've heard the stories about how he treats his artists, his bands. We've seen the coming and going of so many: Biggie Smalls, Mason Betha, G Depp, Shine, Barrows, like all these people that just disappeared from the ether or were jailed and locked up all around him, and nothing was happening to the actual man that all this was. Like, he was a common denominator in a lot of these cases. And it's just like, you think to yourself, how does he keep on, continuously getting off scotch-free? Not anymore. Not anymore. Diddy, come here.
You know why? And that is a true definition of karma.
Yes, it is.
It will come.
It will come. And when it comes, it's going to come. It's coming like a wrecking ball. Like, he's going down. He is going down. It's there's a comedian named Josh Johnson who is hilarious. He's currently a contributor on The Daily Show, and he has a YouTube segment where he talks about Diddy, horrible rapper, great villain, because he really is. He's such a villain. And it's hard for people like myself and yourself who grew up in the 80s and 90s and the 2000s, and we danced to a lot of his music. This is one of those things where we have to separate the art from the artist. I mean, we continually have to do this, especially in the Black community. Look at the Chris Browns of the world, the R. Kellys of the world. We have to separate those folks. But I mean, the white community has their fair share as well. Elvis Presley, Woody Allen. So there's
Donald Trump.
Oh my God. And the convictions. Listen, there's so much to get into.
Okay.
You're right, though. You started at the top of the show with the perfect segment. Sean, Puffy, did he do it or did he not, Combs? That's what it's all about. And apparently he did it. I mean, if a woman sues you on a Monday and then you give her all she wants on a Tuesday.
that is guilt in itself. That's number one. Number two, the sad part is he lied and said he had nothing to do with it. And this is what I mean. It takes a video for people to be outraged because it becomes her word against his word. And then as soon as a video comes out, that is it. That's why I always tell people have proof of things. And
Yes,
sometimes like So you have to watch what you're doing. You can't keep saying you didn't do something in the hopes. You got to make sure there's no proof.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, just don't do it. just,
Yeah.
I'm all about living your life within reason.
My thing with the video is I could tell that it wasn't the first time he's done that to her, because it was so at ease to do it that I was like, oh, wow, what has this girl, what has Cassie been going through? And I know a lot of people say, why didn't she leave? Anyone who's been abused knows it's hard to leave, because your self-esteem is low. You believe in what this person is telling you. You think you deserve to get harmed like that because a person has shrunk your self-esteem so low that you don't love yourself. And it's easier said than done. You don't know if the person is crazy. You don't know if you leave, they're going to come and kill you. You don't know if they're willing to put their hands on you in a hallway, in a hotel. Me leaving, what is my protection?
Danny, listen, it's hard for people. It's hard for women or men to leave from broke women or men. I can't imagine how hard it was for, what was she, like 25 in that video, 26? I can't imagine how hard it was for a 25-year-old, extremely impressionable young Cassie who started getting groomed from Diddy from the age of 18 to leave from such a powerful man. I mean, he was around 45 or 46 in that video. So it's not one of those things where maybe he was too young and didn't know any better. Children know not to hit other children. They still do it, but they understand why they get in trouble. For him to not even just put his hands on this young lady, knock her down and kick her. Like, the video was appalling to see. I am not one of the people who shared it just because I know it's a trigger for when it's just I hated that we even saw it, the public even saw it, but I understand why it's put out there.
Because people didn't believe her.
Right.
Like, I don't want to say this blanket statement, believe women, because there's some women who have done things where you found that they were lying.
Yeah.
But my thing is, look at the source. Look at their track record. Look at their credibility. Yeah. Is this person more likely to lie or not lie? And people need to start looking at people's character. You know, like if he's crazy like this with his business, because I've heard that he hasn't paid, royalties even to Biggie Smalls. Like his fortune is based on him keeping people's money.
Well, he gave earlier this year, I believe it was either earlier this year or late in 2023, he relinquished a lot of his publishing and gave it back to the artist. So now I think he was on the road to try to redeem himself.
No. Let me tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
When he when he let them have the his publishing, relinquish. They had to sign an NDA. So that's why he did it. He did it because he didn't want them running their mouth and talking. So the price of the money of him giving them the royalty was a price for their silence.
Right. D.L. Hughley put out a great statement. He said, for everyone that has been in his circle that are now talking and speaking badly about him, you are not witnesses, you are accomplices. And that makes so much sense. It's just like you watch this man do all of this. But again, it goes back to this guy was so powerful. You thought your life was probably at risk just because it probably was. Now people are circling back to his ex being, mysteriously dying, Kim Porter, because apparently she was actually coming out with a book. And that's tough for a number of reasons. One, someone died. Two, a mother died. Three, the mother of some of his children died. So that's going to be a tough Thanksgiving.
But wait a minute. But there's men and women that kill their family members every single day.
You're right, but it doesn't make it any more right. It's just
it's not right. But I'm saying it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, just the other day in Brooklyn, there was a murder suicide where this in an apartment building that housed a mother, her son, and the son's baby mama. They were all in their 20s. Of course, the mother / grandmother's a lot older. But in that apartment, the couple would argue relentlessly. And then this one argument just got really nasty. This just happened at the end of May, beginning of June. And he left the apartment, came back with a gun, shot her twice, and then killed himself. They have 2 children, age 4 and 5 years old, that are now orphans. This happened in front of his mom, the grandma. So God knows the trauma that this woman has to go through now, and to get back to some resemblance of normal, if she'll ever get to that. So I get it. You're completely right that this happens all the time. But when it comes to celebrities or people that are just in the public eye, whatever happens to them tends to be magnified times 10. So now his children are going to have to not only have to live with this, but live with it in front of everyone. And I think he's done a decent job of sort of protecting them from the public eye. Of course, they're the ones that want to be out and seen, like Quincy, which is his stepson from Albie Shore. And then he has his actual biological son, Christian Combs, who he foolishly, I don't know if you heard that record. I didn't even hear it. I just read the transcript.
Why are you going? Let me just say something. Why would you make a record? This is what I mean. Sometimes I think that they're narcissists. Sometimes I think that they're narcissists.
Yeah. I mean, don't think about it. It's done. He's definitely a narcissist. Like, I don't even like using that word because it's a trigger word that gets used just callously, I feel. But I mean, for him to grow up so closely to his father, this is one of those things where growing up closely to your father wasn't a good situation because he's exactly like the man. He has to be. You go and make a record saying y'all raided the wrong house. You should have got the crib to our other house. Like, okay.
So basically you're snitching on yourself?
I'm the FBI, I'm taking notes. I'm like, you goddamn right, we go raid that house next time. Thank you so much, Christian. We appreciate
and maybe that's what they did, and that's how they got the video. Because as soon as that song dropped, a couple of days later, that video came out.
Wouldn't that be some stuff? I'm hoping that they got it from the initial raid, but if they got it from something else, I mean, you're not doing well. There's a couple of ways you're not doing well in life. When you're behind in your bills, but it doesn't make you a bad person. It means you're just behind your bills. But some people attribute that to not doing well in life. But if your house is being raided by Homeland Security, you got some problems. This is a real situation.
The feds have a 98% conviction rate.
Yikes. Hey, wait, Danny, how did you feel about the apology video that he put out?
It was a public relation move.
I didn't even watch it.
I used to be a publicist, and that they all have publicists, and they're all going to try to spin it. My thing is, like, you're only sorry now because you got caught. Let's be real. Because you should have said sorry even before the video came out, because we obviously knew something happened because you gave her that $30 million in like 2.2 seconds.
30 M's. I
think it was more than that. I think it was more than that. I think it was more than 30. I think 30 million was what they could maybe disclose to the public, but I think it came with other things too that wasn't disclosed to the public.
You spoke on karma. What's interesting is that, do you know the man that Cassie's married to now is
a trainer?
No,
not a trainer.
Not just
that was her trainer.
But not just her trainer. Do you know how she got that trainer, Danny?
How?
Puffy's the one that hired the trainer for her.
And then that trainer was a therapist.
Yes.
Oh my God,
he was doing a lot more than training. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me just tell you something. If you're not treating your girl right, do not have another man next to them that will, because that man.
Decent man. You don't have to be a great man, just decent.
But I am so happy for her because she got married. She has 2 beautiful children. And the sad thing is, she could have had an amazing career. She came out with a couple of songs, but after that, I guess she was under Puffy's thumb, where she never really came out with good music again. So I feel bad that she wasted her talent and her purpose, but I'm so happy that she has a man that loves her and 2 beautiful children that loves her. And hopefully she'll be a spokesperson for domestic violence and talk to the young kids.
She needs to be a spokesperson. She needs to write a book, but I don't know if she wants this to necessarily be her defining moment. Maybe she doesn't want to stand on this pedestal. She just wanted to get what was rightfully hers, which she did. And to your point, yes, her career was sidelined by this man, but I think it made up for it for those $30 million. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take the $30 million.
No. She's beautiful. She is so beautiful. She would have made like $100 million because she would have had beauty lines. She would have had clothing lines.
Nothing stopping her. She could still do it. She could come out with some sort of, hear me out, and this is not even a joke. She could come out with like makeup for battered and abused women. Like if you want to cover up your whatever the markings or this and that. she was doing something to cover everything up. How come no one noticed this stuff? Like now we have to zoom in to these old pictures to see, oh, look, there goes the damaged hair. There goes the damaged hair. They showed there's pictures of her 2 days after that hotel incident at like a movie premiere or some sort of premiere with Puffy, and you can see the markings on her body. So she had to cover it up somehow. If she comes up with some sort of battered and abused line, that would take off. Like, again, not as a joke, like as a real thing that will take off. Not to support domestic violence, but if you are going through something and you are in the phases of slowly coming out of it and you need to cover up a little something,
Kev, no.
Just saying. I'm just saying that seems like a good stocking stuffer right there for Christmas.
Look, what I want to say to anyone that's being abused out there is he's not going to change. She's not going to change.
No, he's not.
One of those things.
Or she, but most of the time,
I said he or she, because we do want to recognize that men also get abused also. Right. So it's not just women that get abused and men get abused. But my thing is, if you're praying and hoping that the abuse will stop, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to stop. If you want to save your life, I suggest that you leave as soon as possible and not bring children into that cipher, because those children might be harmed also eventually. So one thing about celebrities is they're humans just like us, and they're going through all this stuff behind the scenes. We just don't know that they're going through all this stuff behind the scenes.
And just to let you guys know, I was just looking up the number for the domestic violence hotline. It is 1-800-799-7233. So if you or someone you know is going through something and they're in a domestic violence situation, please call 1-800-799-7233. Now, Danny, to your point, he will never change. And you know who else will never change? Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump. He's never going to change. He's never going to change. I know you're going to hate me say this, but I love it. I love it. He's so entertaining. I know I shouldn't find a former president / possibly future president as entertaining as I do, but man, he is entertaining.
He's a felon, though, and he's probably going to be the first president that's a felon.
Some of the funniest people are felons.
but I want to tell you something, though. Once he becomes president and he's a felon, I don't want to see any job application asking, are you a felon? As soon as he becomes president, there should be laws that strike all of that away, because that has stopped many of people who have paid their dues to still not get a job because people will not hire a felon. If they make an exception for Trump, because I don't care, at the end of the day, he was found guilty by 12 of his peers. I'm not here to judge if it's rigged or not. I'm just, this is our system. There's so many innocent people that are in jail right now, right?
You know,
you can't have it both ways.
You can't.
That's all I want to say.
You can't. So Donald J. Trump has definitely pushed the goalposts in terms of who could run for president or what it is to be an American president. You can now be crass. You can come off as classless. You could be a convicted felon. Like, he's definitely changed the water pool. Not that he's a president now, but it looks like he has a good chance of winning, because the day that he was convicted in New York, in Manhattan, New York City, the website for his fundraiser for his campaign crashed. Donations. It crashed.
$58 million he made 24 hours of his conviction in New York City for, I guess, I don't know, tax documents that weren't done correctly, I guess.
No, it's more than that. So I'm sure everyone's heard of the illicit woman that he was with, Stormy Daniels, this high-end escort that he paid to, and
let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. She had to sign an NDA because they slept together. Why would you have someone sign an NDA and nothing happened?
Right. No, so he's not denying that he slept with her.
Yes, he is denying. He's saying
well, maybe he is. Maybe, I mean, it flip-flops all the time. But what this case was about was that he paid her $130,000 to shut her trap. And that money came out of campaign funds. So in order for that to happen, they had to fudge a couple of numbers to make it seem like that $130,000 was allocated other places
for campaign things, correct, and not paying Stormy Daniels a payoff.
Correct. The campaign was the storm, So that's what the trial was getting to the nitty gritty of, and they sure got to that nitty and that gritty. But
You know what's so crazy? Donald Trump has $130,000 on his own. So I know you're not gonna like the word narcissist. That's how I know he's a narcissist because he had that personally where he could have paid her off, but instead he's like, no, I ain't gonna use my money.
No, Stormy. Stormy is a big woman. She's a big deal. I looked at her and said, wow, she's a big deal. He's an idiot. He is an idiot for a number of reasons. One, keep your wiener to yourself. I mean, this all goes back to like self-control and self-discipline, which I know a lot of boys becoming men don't have, but he's up there now where it's just like, come on, bro. Get better than
I
that.
know like New York State is taking this, we don't care if you're married anymore. But my thing is this, like the reason there's a breakdown of the family is because you're not considering cheating as something that breaks down the family, right? He was married
Well,
to
the reason
Melania Trump while he slept with this woman. And when I hear the other side say he didn't do nothing, what about Melania Trump and what she's going through and the pain of it and the embarrassment of knowing that my husband was cheating with a porn star,
I mean, if your husband's gonna cheat, he might as well cheat with the best that's out there, right? You know.
I mean, don't tell me porn stars are the best.
I mean,
I don't know about that, but maybe Kev, do you know something that I don't know?
Listen, they're presumably the best, all right? They're the ones that get paid to entertain in that regard. But he probably
the reason that people went to porn stars is the fact that they don't talk.
You know, I didn't know that people went to porn stars, but now that I think about it, that might be another part of the business. It's like, you know, just like how I'm a communicator.
I'm gonna pay you.
Yeah, you know, because you're right though. Part of the payment is one, so you know what this is. We're not in love, but two, the transaction is done. You go your way, I go mine. But these high profile folks need to realize there's some sketchy people out there, and most of those sketchy people tend to be porn stars or people involved in that sort of business. It's so interesting about porn too. You know, prostitution is clearly illegal everywhere except for like Vegas. But once you put a camera out there and pay somebody, now it's art and it's a business, you know, because it's still prostitution. But it's like, oh, no. I don't worry. It's on camera. This is not prostitution. And I gave her some money. But yeah, Donald J. Trump is just an idiot. So the first time I ever met him, the first and only time I ever met him was during my time at the Wendy Williams show. He was a guest. This is, you know, years before he was president, about 4 or 5 years. And I remember being impressed with him just because he mentioned that he doesn't drink any alcohol. And the reason why he doesn't drink any alcohol is because he thinks that people, when they drink, they look foolish and they appear foolish. And for me, it's interesting because he doesn't need any alcohol to appear foolish. He's foolish all on his own. No, not a single drop of the spirit for him to get in that dumb, just disgusting, callous way he tends to be.
You know what, Kev? You know what I wanted to ask you, because I hear, like, you know, he's running for president. My question is this: what about if it was Obama that did it?
Oh, I mean, come on, we already know that we don't have to.
That's what I try to tell people. Like, you can't pick and choose what you want. It's either all or nothing. It's all or nothing. If it was Obama who did exactly the same thing that Trump did, you would have been saying, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up.
Well, we know why Obama can't do something like that. Hillary Clinton can't do something like that. Anyone that's not an old, rich white man can't do anything like that. But technically, old, rich white men, no one should be able to get away with this. Why does Donald J. Trump get away with it? I think it's because he's already set the bar so low for himself.
No,
that's already just adding to it.
No, he's willing to get away with it because I tell people all the time, you have to be willing to afford good lawyers.
Yeah.
Good lawyers will get you almost out of everything. The reason that most people are in jail is because lawyers are so expensive, like $800 an hour, $1,000 an hour, that you can't afford good representation. And therefore, you're not going to get, you know, what a Donald Trump lawyers do for Donald Trump is not the same with what we would get as a lawyer.
Yeah, when I had to train a lawyer, it was $3,500 for 3 court appearances. You know, so that's just the appearances. That's not counting the time I'm speaking to them on the phone.
So basically, $1,000 each appearance.
Yeah, alone. Yep. And then that's why, you know, folks like Donald Trump or these big businesses, if you take them to trial, they try to drag it out, because the more they drag it out, the more money is coming out of your pocket. What's interesting is that over in the UK, the their court system is very much a loser pays, meaning, let's say you want to sue me for something. Now I'm going to court and I have to get a lawyer just because you want to sue me. And if you lose the case, if you don't end up winning the case, you have to pay my legal fees.
It should be that way.
It really should be that way. But the reason why they have it like that in the UK is not because they want to be nice. It's because it doesn't work out for the poor people. You know, poor people, if they don't have a case, even if they do have a case, they can't sue Big Brother because that person's going to drag it out. You know, they're going to drag it out. They can. And sure, loser pays, but if they don't even have the money to pay the person, their lawyers now to continue this, they have to bow out. And that's how it goes. But Donald Trump.
What? I was 50 Cent went to go visit the White House yesterday, and he said a comment that the reason that Black men are going to vote, not all Black men, but Black men are interested in voting for Donald Trump, is because they could relate to him and the injustices of the court system. What do you think the relation is with Black men with Donald Trump?
I think there's a number of things. That's definitely one of them. The other one, remember, Donald Trump, he turned over a few convictions in his time in office. One famously being Lil Wayne's. Then I also think he did something for, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he overturned something for Kodak Black.
Mm-hmm. Basically gave him a pardon. He gave Kodak Black a pardon.
So he gave it to some prominent figures in the Black community. So all Black people started paying attention. It's just like, all right, this guy doesn't seem too bad. You know, he doesn't seem too bad.
But honestly, like, okay, I'm going to say this too. I met Donald Trump also.
Yeah.
But I personally met Donald Trump, was in a room with him way before he became Donald Trump. But we were all cool with him before he became president. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have known personally if he was racist or not.
Yeah.
But he was cordial. He was cordial to me. And I'm just talking about like my experience with him. I don't know other people's experience with him. He just became a demagogue when he started talking about like race relations.
Demagogue, yeah. Stop playing. Donald Trump is in Stranger Things now. He's a villain in Stranger Things. I love it.
He's gonna win. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think the momentum is on his side.
100%. Look who he's going against. He's going against garbage. You know, I'm not gonna lie, Danny. I already told my girl.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead, tell me something.
Like, Biden is grandpa, but sometimes I feel like grandpa is safe. I know
what?
Grandpa is safe. Grandpa is chill.
No.
Grandpa is just like, but if Donald Trump comes in, it's going to be a vengeance that people are going to feel.
First of all, Donald Trump changed the way we even view politics. Politics was never entertaining until Donald Trump. It was never entertaining until Donald Trump. He came into these debates with people saying, you know, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I represent this class, and I believe in, I'm against abortion. Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I represent this class, and I believe in, you know, healthcare for everyone. Here comes Donald Trump. Hey, I'm Donald Trump, and that guy's stupid. That guy's gay. And everyone's just like, what? You can't say these things, but I'm interested. You know, it's just like.
But you want to know why you're interested? Because these are the things that we actually think and we can't say because it's not political correct. And he doesn't give a damn.
You know who can say those things? Comedians, not political pundits or presidential candidates.
Comedians can't say anything anymore because look at Dave Chappelle, what he said about the LGBTQ. Look how the backlash he got for saying certain things that was a joke, was his experience, but because they felt like he was saying something negative against them, they wanted that his comedian show pulled off of Netflix.
And you know what? All they did was
the bad jokes are everyone's oversensitive no more. Like we can't laugh at the things that we used to laugh back then. We can't even joke on ourselves.
Well, shout out to the LGBTQ plus community. We are in June and it is Pride Month. We see you guys. For those of you who don't know, quick little backstory, but LGBTQ month, June, it started from way back in the late 60s at this very famous bar called Stonewall Inn. It was raided by cops. So this was like the norm back then for these known gay meetup places to be
in New York, right?
To be raided by police. So for some reason, when it happened at the Stonewall Inn, it was just kind of like that was the final straw, and a lot of riots and marches started happening. And then the following year, to commemorate that moment, they started like a parade in all like the major cities, Los Angeles and New York. And then from there, June eventually just became Pride Month. So happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The world has come a long way since 1969. Yes, it seems like the more and more the day goes on, nothing changes. But when you look back, you realize how different things are. So, let's keep on pushing that needle just a little bit at a time. But the person that's bringing the needle back is Donald Trump. He's just horrible. I think because of him, he has changed how people even speak in Congress. Now we have people calling other people the
like fake lashes.
All right, bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. That's one of my favorite tongue twisters now, Danny. Like before I start my days, I like to just do little Peter Piper
exercises.
All those exercises. Now bleach blonde, bad built, butch body is up there now. Like that's up there. They got to teach that in schools. So the way Jasmine Crockett just pulled that one out of nowhere. Whoo! Do not come for our dear sister Jasmine.
No, I don't think she pulled out of nowhere. I think she always had on a post-it ready for her. She was ready. I like, because let me tell you something. You always gotta be ready.
Will Smith famously said, "It's good to be ready, so you don't have to get ready." So it looks like that's what happened with Jasmine Crockett. Shout out to the good sis Jasmine.
But you know what's so crazy? Civility is gone in our government now, to the point that we're sitting there talking about people's looks and characters. Like, there's serious things going on in the country right now. What we're doing is what kids in like school do, like call people names. What is that going to solve? What? Like you're supposed to work together. Not like our country is more. Every 4 years I say this. I just can't believe how divided we are. Yeah. We are so divided that it's scary to me. I feel like we live in two different worlds sometimes.
Hey, listen, we aren't as divided as it was in the 1860s when the Civil War started. So we're doing better than them. We are doing better. Yes, we are divided. And I think the reason why it seems like we're more divided is because everyone has a public platform, whether you're big or not. Everyone can comment now. Everyone's opinions are is out there. Look what's going on right now. I'm not sure if you're paying attention to the WNBA, but this past year we had
Caitlin Clark.
Correct. So we've had a sensational rookie class with Caitlin Clark being the head of that. She's bringing so many eyeballs onto the WNBA, but so is Angel Reese. They had this nice little rivalry going from college. Caitlin being at Iowa. Angel Reese being at LSU, and they brought that into the league. Mm-hmm. Now, that said, this is what happens in the WNBA or just in sports, period. You have like this next, person that's going to move the needle, this person that's supposed to be so great. Other players are going to want to challenge them. That's what's going to happen. I will say Kennedy Carter, that was a rather cheap shot that happened.
That was a cheap shot because the play, because it was done. The play was done, and you went next to him. The
play was done, but what people aren't speaking about is what happened before. Everyone's talking about the reaction, but no one's talking about the action that caused the reaction.
Isn't that the way of life?
Danny, that is right before that play. Caitlin Clark, during an actual possession, elbowed Kennedy Carter. Correct. So you didn't know about that. You didn't know about that. So
but look how the media works, though. They didn't show that part.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they went to her going like this.
You're being hurt. And you know what, Danny? If you ever want to see how different the world or America approaches things, look at Caitlin Clark's page. Read the comments underneath all her stuff. You have people saying, "You're so great. That girl is horrible. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah." And then go on the Angel Reese's page. Nothing but vitriol, nothing but hate. And it's nasty. And I will say, I'm a big fan of both because they're both bringing eyeballs onto a league that wasn't getting very much attention. Although these people are very talented, they weren't getting very much attention, but now they are. That said, Angel Reese is probably not doing herself any favors by how she speaks to the media.
Yeah.
Because Caitlin Clark, I will say this.
She needs a publicist. She needs a publicist for sure, because the media as much as you hate
Danny,
them.
she needs you. She needs you, Danny.
Yes, me. Hire me.
Danny
Hire
Benson
me.
and Angel Reese, get them together. Because Caitlin
Hire
Clark,
me.
I don't know if Caitlin
No.
Clark has someone, but she speaks very well to the media. She doesn't say anything crazy. She probably thinks crazy things and says it to her father and her people around her. But to the public at large, you know what? It was a bad play, but I got to toughen up, and that's it. I'm sure as soon as that's done, she's in the locker room. Yo, F that B. We going to get this, blah, blah, blah. But then on top of that, you have to keep in mind, Caitlin Clark has that Kobe Bryant effect in that he came into the league straight out of high school, this great player, you know, the next Michael Jordan, all this stuff spoken about him, and his teammates hated on him. So Caitlin Clark's teammates are hating on her.
That happened to LeBron too. But LeBron
All
said
great
that
players.
his teammates were jealous.
All the great players, Danny. But what I'm saying is that what's happening to Caitlin Clark isn't any different than what happened to everyone else. It's just that now with the added race factor, you have the white folks that are going for Caitlin Clark, that they're going hard. You know, Roll Tide. They go hard for their girl. And it's just like, hey, I like Caitlin Clark, but I don't like her because she's white. I like her because she's talented. And it's something that WNBA players are speaking on it, saying she's only getting this attention because she's heterosexual and that she's white. And it's just like, no, she's getting the attention because she broke almost every record there is to break in the NCAA. And now she's bringing her talent to the best league for women possible. You want her to leave and go to Europe? Because she can. She'll probably get more money. You know, she got offered some crazy number by
she already got a sneaker deal. She's already a millionaire. She's a millionaire.
So think about that. Think about that hate that she's getting because of that. You know, she's making more money than all of them combined, probably. I don't know what the numbers are, but she's changing the league. She's causing the league to now have different stadiums for these women to have their games in because there are more people attending. They are not just flying commercially anymore. I didn't realize that they were in the past because I wasn't paying attention to them either. But now they're getting chartered flights. Like, it's insane what she's doing. But I get it as someone that was already in the game who thinks of themselves as I am better than her. How dare you say that our league is being saved by her? But it's just like, when you look back at it, she's the one that saved y'all league. Just like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird back in the late 70s saved the NBA. The NBA went bankrupt. You know, they were just known for doing drugs and partying, which they still do now, but not just not as, you know.
Not in front.
But you know what is fun though? Cameron. Everything about him. I love me some Cameron.
No, I think he ruins it for everybody else. He ruins it for me. He ruins it for you.
Danny.
Like you can't. They're gonna take us as a joke. But like, why would you say you want to do this interview and get on there and act like you were forced to do this interview?
Well, Danny, I will say that he didn't realize the interview was going to be about talking about Diddy, the whole thing.
Why would they want him on?
You know what? That's a good point. First of all, I don't think they should have had him on CNN anyway. CNN and Cameron just seem like a just like a bad mix. You know, oil and vinegar.
I mean, Cameron knew he was coming to speak about Diddy because the Diddy thing just happened like maybe 24 hours, 40 hours before. You don't think they were going to ask you that question?
Yo, my man Cameron said, first of all, you know the interview is
going to get booty cheeks? He said on live TV? Like, come on. Where's your publicist at, Cameron?
Listen, this is one of those things
How
where
are you supposed to sell your brand when no one's gonna take you seriously?
Danny, that's the thing. He's speaking to his base, just like
Donald.
His
base does not own the media companies.
Listen. But he got eyeballs on his base. It's bad. I know. I get what you're saying. I completely hear it, especially as someone who looks at himself or feels like an educated black man. To see Cameron go on it felt like it was like a Saturday Night Live skit.
I thought it was a spoof at first.
Like, this can't be real. You know, this got to be the Will Smith smack again. Like, I can't believe this is happening. You know, but he goes on and says, you know, I just had some horsepower. I'm about to get some cheeks after this. Then he goes on. He's just kind of like, you know, I don't really know Diddy like that. You got to go ask Mace about that. So he, in his mind, he kind of put it to bed by saying that. So then when the interviewer Abby asked again, he goes and says the line that I would never forget, even though I forgot exactly how he worded it, but he was just like, yo, man, I need to talk to my talent agent. Who put me on this piece? Is the truth? Like, what talent agent, what manager said Cameron would be a good idea for this? Because people have to realize the outside world who have never been in TV, those interviews don't just happen. They don't just happen.
There's people behind the scenes. There's publicists.
There's so many people.
Management.
So it's insane that even happened. I'm just like, what? Like, it was. But
you know why? The reason I feel like he ruined his brand is This was a national stage.
Danny,
No, this was a national stage for him. Look, okay, yeah, he's for the culture, but as regards to moving up the ladder, like moving up from the culture, because you have to eventually become. I think he is mainstream. People are gonna use that and say we're not calling him for an interview because he might do this on our show.
But Danny, some people look at that and go, man, what if he did that on our show? Let's call him for an interview. Because what did he do? He brought more eyeballs on CNN. And you're probably thinking, why does CNN need more eyeballs? Because people are moving to streaming services. People are listening to podcasts like this.
Watching regular TV has gone down significantly.
Yes.
Like I just have streaming. I don't even watch.
I never watch
regular
anything
TV
anymore. I don't even watch basketball in real time anymore. And to keep with Cameron, he recently got called out in this Adidas ad by the 22-year-old phenom Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He is excellent. I was hoping he'll make it to the finals, but he couldn't get past Luka Doncic, Kyrie. Kyrie.
I was hoping the Knicks made it. Come on,
yeah,
bring it home.
Listen, Tom Thibodeau, Coach Tibbs ran those boys ragged. There was too many injuries. He literally had like a 7-man rotation going against elite teams. Like, you're in the second round. The Pacers weren't playing around with them, but the Pacers got handled in the conference finals by the inevitable Eastern Conference champions, the Boston Celtics, which I feel bad for both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, because they're going to be going to the finals again for the second time in 3 years or 2 years. They went in 2022 and lost, and I think they're going to lose again. Who you
got?
I have Dallas. I want Dallas to win because I want Luka. Luka, the Slovenian player who's 25 years old. He's been playing with professional grown men since he was 13. He was the MVP of the EuroLeague when he was 18. You got to keep in mind, he's playing with 20-something, 30-year-old men, and he was the MVP of the league at 18. What do you think he's going to do in the NBA? He's going to do exactly what he's doing right now. He is clowning these fools, clowning them. He had the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, on skates in one of the last plays, literally the last play of Game 5, I think. And it was just, or Game 4. It was insane. He embarrasses people. And then he does it with a smile. And then after he's done smiling, he looks at the opposing team's fan base and curses them out. It is lovely to watch.
Really?
Fresh air. I love him. I can't wait to see what he's going to do to those Boston fans in TD Garden Arena, whatever the hell it's called, because the Celtics fans are known for being the most crude fan base, highly racist. Not saying they're all racist, but they're known for being highly racist. It's Boston. Let's get in the car, go to the game.
Boston.
But Anthony Edwards came out with this his recent commercial, which is beautiful. You could tell that he has a lot of say in what's going into his brand, because it seemed like this Atlanta boy speaking on whatever. It starts off with the machine, and his friend is there watching him play. He's like, man, what's that machine for? He's like, oh, for my receipts. I keep all receipts. Receipts meaning anytime somebody bad talks him.
Evidence.
Yes. So then as he's shooting around, receipts are coming out of the machine. And one of them was from Cameron that said, I don't think this guy's ready to be a superstar. And then Anthony Edwards says a very popular Atlanta line, which is the F word, and it ends with buddy. He goes, man, F buddy, And Cameron didn't like that too much. At first, he laughed and reposted it on his Instagram, but then he went and made a 4-minute.
Because they found out everyone was laughing at him.
Right. They did a 4-minute. He did a 4-minute freestyle where he addressed it. Spoke on Adidas, saying, "As soon as Ant-Man messes up, y'all gonna drop him anyway." He spoke about the whole CNN thing. Apologized to his good sister Abby.
Hurt.
He probably. You're right, probably. But I don't know. Cameron is entertaining, but he's not as entertaining as recent viral star Corey Harris.
Oh my God!
Court Zoom.
No, I'm driving. License suspended. I'm driving. Hold up. Let me pull over.
Wait, parking right now. Right. Yep. Hold on. Parking right now. Then you have to judge.
You know what I thought though? I thought maybe his camera was off, and he didn't realize it was. Like I think he had the camera off, so you couldn't really see him driving. I don't think he realized the camera was on. There's
So
no way you're giving this judge all this evidence that you're actually driving when you're not supposed to be driving.
all that evidence, and Judge Cedric, what's his name? Cedric Simpson, he was not having it. His reaction, he goes, wait, can somebody remind me, is he here for a suspended license? Yes, Your Honor. Revoked. So now I felt bad about it because then a couple of days after that, it came out that his license being suspended was actually rescinded back in January of 2022. And the reason why it was even suspended in the first place was because of back child support, which he paid, and he paid the fees. Now, with his license being reinstated in January 2022, how come this is still a problem in June 2024? Turns out there was a clerical error, and they never put the stuff through. So I got upset and made this huge post on my Facebook, letting them know I should have laughed at this man. The court system is trash. Child support is messed up again. To find out days later on June 5th, he's in court again in front of Judge Cedric Simpson. It turns out, get this, Danny, this man never, ever in his life has had a license. He never had a license.
Oh, he never had a license.
He's only had a state ID.
But even if you don't have a license, they can suspend you in the hopes that if you do get a license, you don't get a license. They can do that.
First of all, he should have gotten more trouble the first time his license got suspended because it should have never got suspended. How you gonna suspend something that doesn't exist? It doesn't exist.
No, but I think it's a suspension, meaning that you're so bad that if you ever think about getting a license, you're not gonna be able to get one.
I don't know. That all seems crazy to me. Crazy. I'm upset.
But you know what? He was so cute, though. He was so cute. He was cute and honest, though.
I don't care. Honest. I don't care. No. You know, Judge Joe Brown said something a long time ago that I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he goes something about we can't protect people from their stupidity. Something like that. And it was such a beautiful quote. He was going in on Mark Lamont Hill about something. I wonder if I have the quote in my notes because it was just so good and it made so much sense. Here we go. I have it right here. This society does not work when the society's obligation is to protect somebody from being stupid.
Yeah. But
you
know what? Stupid. In our society, I think there's like a lot of, stupid people walking around. And I don't mean to say that with no judgment. I think people need to start, getting off of like entertainment social media and actually go into knowledge social media and start learning some stuff. Learning some information.
Know the laws or the rules of the community that you're in. Because as well as I do, being in the United States, the laws vary from state to state. So just know that. But this man, Corey Harris, was well aware that he didn't have a license because every year, religiously, he would get his state ID renewed. So if you get your state ID renewed, you damn sure know you don't have.
God bless him.
God bless him.
God bless him.
You know who God should also bless? Mike Tyson. He's fighting Jake Paul.
I know. I don't really want Mike to do that. I'm like, why, Mike? Why?
He'll be fighting Jake Paul at the end of July, and you got your prayers answered because he's not going to be fighting him, at least not on July 20th, the original date. It got postponed, something with some sort of health condition with Mike.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Mike Tyson, please don't go. You're well into your 50s. Not to say that's old, but
it's too old to be fighting in the ring.
Yeah. Because you know what it is? I don't want to put limits on people. Because just like Donald Trump, like whether we love him or hate him, he is like the person, I feel like he has so much self-belief in himself that he's just like, no one's gonna stop me. Like it's so weird. Like whether you love him or hate him, he's a guy that is like, yo, all right, I got a felony now. I'm still running for president. Let's go. And I look, he might be a clown or whatever, but that is a definition of never giving up.
You know those posters that people have in their offices? It'll show like a lion and have like one word, teamwork, and it'll show like the Cubs. They need to have a new one with just Donald Trump, and underneath it says perseverance. Because that's what it is. I know we're down to the last minute, but this was it's always so much fun talking to you, Dan.
And then we have Benzino and Coy to just talk about real quickly.
Benzino's an idiot. As we all know, he says a lot of outlandish things.
He is the founder of Source Magazine, which was a very highly used magazine in the hip hop culture. He put the culture on the map with Source Magazine. It's a very known Source Magazine. Now his daughter is Coy. But let's think about it for a second. Do you think there would be a Coy without Benzino?
You're right. There wouldn't be. But he went and said, I think we should give R. Kelly a second chance.
You want to know why? In that generation, there was so much going on that right now would be political correct. Even back then, it would be political correct. But because everybody was doing it, these rappers were with young girls.
Danny, you talking about the 90s. I'm talking about the 2000s and the 2010s. He was still doing it then. He was doing it when he knew.
Because no one told him. Let me just tell you something about your camp. You can't have yes people in your camp.
You're right.
What happens is you will make decisions that will ruin you for the rest of your life. Just like the whole Diddy situation, like to wrap around that. It's like, who is in your camp that you just didn't shut up after you gave that $30 million? Your ego was so bruised that you had to come in and say, I'm not guilty. I'm innocent. Like, you know what? Take your L's and just shut up and don't say nothing for 6 months to a year. Right?
That's
a publicist standpoint. But because he has such an ego,
he
ruined it for himself.
100%. He did. That said, I still second chance for R. Kelly. No.
R. Kelly is done because what I'm finding out is when you hear rumor, there's a little truth to it.
There is, and it sucks to say because sometimes rumors are just that, rumors. But if you've been hearing it for decades, and then there's so
from
much
other people,
evidence, you know.
Wait, but wasn't Wendy Williams the one that outed Diddy and said, since we're in Pride Month, Wendy Williams outed Diddy and said he was, how you doing?
Keep in mind, she outed him back in her radio days, and because of that, Puffy used his powers to get her kicked off of Hot 97.
That alone lets you know how gangster he is. To the point that she was one of the best, disc jockeys on the radio, and
he was like, no thanks.
She just said that, how you doing? And all of a sudden, done.
The power of Puffy.
And that's what's so sad. I wish, God bless Wendy Williams, one of the best women to do it in media.
You having a field
for the culture. I wish she can just have her hot topics and talk about the Diddy situation.
And only Diddy. All she needs to talk about.
Huh?
And all she needs to talk about is the Diddy situation, just so we can have a full circle moment with her. Full circle. Like, let's talk about this man that you already outed a long time ago, even though it was unfair and rather rude for her to out him, because that's what she was doing back then, outing these guys, because we know now that's a bad thing to do. But the fact that she lost her job over that was it's kind of harsh. It was harsh, especially because she was good at what she did. But, again, you brought up in the beginning, the top of the show, karma, and karma came around and hit Wendy pretty badly as well.
So people need to understand, treat others the way you want to be treated. And don't think that when you treat someone horrible and you think you got away with it, karma is very patient. And karma is not kind. And karma is not going to come when you expect it. Karma is going to come when you least expect it. And I don't think Diddy thought that his whole empire would be to dust, because he had to sell Revolt. He's no longer partnership with Ciroc. He's basically lost everything. So I hope that he stashed some good money away, did a lot of great investments, because I don't think anyone is ever going to work with him. With that video, every time they Google, oh yes, sir, let's do something with you. And they Google, no, not a good idea. Not a good idea. That video is there for the rest of eternity.
You're right. It's in the internet ether.
And he paid I think $15,000-$20,000 to get that video too.
I thought it would have been more than that. I mean, shame on that hotel for not releasing it earlier. That's what.
No, it was probably like the security guard seeing the whole thing like this, and he was like, "Yo, give me the tape. Here's 20. Of course, he's gonna take the 20."
Yeah, I would have taken the 20. No, I wouldn't. I would have done the right thing. No, I would have taken the 20. Let's be real.
You know what? You know why when he took the 20, he was like, "God gonna get him anyway. Let me take my 20."
We'll make some money off this man's downfall.
Because karma's coming anyway. So whether I say something or not, let me just make sure my pocket's all right.
I got kids.
I'm gonna get him anyway.
Trying to send my son to private school, Thanks, Diddy.
Thank you so much. We got to do this again. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm proud of you, sis. And I will see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.